What's up, Believe Nation? This is a special bonus video for some of you who have purchased your one word, and I'm super pumped to be here. First of all, thank you guys for picking up a copy of the book. It really, really means a lot to me. And this is a special video answer for one of you guys named Jay, who bought 10 copies of my book. That's a deal. You buy 10 copies, you get to ask a question, gets turned into a video. So here it is, my answer for Jay. Jay's question was, his one word is possible, and he's built a brand around being a change maker. And so he's wondering, should he build his credo around being a change maker or around possible? And he's trying to write 10 commandments. In the book, I suggest having 3 parts to make up the credo, and he's wondering, should I do 3? Should I do 10? How do I build this effective campaign out? And so I'm going to share my thoughts, and hopefully it helps Jay and everybody else who's going through the same process. I will start with, if I have one regret about the book, is that I didn't make the credo more prominent. It's so important to figure it out, because it gives a lot more clarity on what your one word is and helps you make all the important decisions. And so I'm really thankful for this opportunity to go a little deeper with the credo, because as I've worked with people to identify their one word and then apply it, right? Just figuring out the one word doesn't mean anything. You need to apply it to your life and business. The credo has done a ton of heavy lifting. And so I was so excited to see this question come in. Jay's got a knack for putting the finger on the right things. So here are my thoughts. First, you need to embrace the simplicity. It's easier to remember. The reason why you go down to one word, one core value, is because it's easier to remember. Because this is supposed to be the filter through which you make important decisions. Forget about business, in your life. The thing that you make all your important decisions through, and so that's why you want to get it down to one word so you can remember. Forget about other people, like that's next, right? You want other people to spread your message. You need word of mouth marketing. You try getting them to remember 10 things. It's not going to happen, right? People just, they have too much going on. And so the one is important. And then I do 3 because, again, if you want to refer to this on a day-to-day basis to make all your important decisions through, you're not going to remember 10. You just aren't. It takes too long. If you have to think about it too much, then it's not going to be a useful tool for you. And so what I would strongly encourage you to do is figure out, how do I get it down to 3, and maybe combine some of the, if you have 10, how do you combine some of those to make up 3 important points that you can remember, and then other people can help spread for you too. So the one word down to 3 credo is what I found to be really helpful. Again, for you just to be able to use it and for people to spread it. The second thing is, before even thinking about it from a marketing perspective, and I think this is the thing I might have changed in the book, I would put it sooner. I would put it more in core instead of campaign. Before thinking of it from a business perspective, think of it from a personal perspective. What are the 3 things that make up who you are? Who make up that one word? So for me, it's believe, and believe turns into self-confidence, passion, and conviction. That makes up believe for me. What are the 3 things that make up who you are? And then bring that to everything that you do, including your business. But you bring it to your relationships, you bring it to your life, you bring it to how you treat people day to day. So possibility, or if it's possible as an example, what would be a breakdown of possible? If you had to pick 3 things that would break down possible, what would that look like? You know, again, this is a very personal exercise, but pick one of those 3 things. How does that relate to that coffee shop visit that you're going to take tomorrow? You got a meeting with somebody at a coffee shop. How does it impact the conversation you have with the barista? Can you make that barista have a little bit more possible in their life? Maybe part of possible is putting a smile on people's face. Let's say that's part of what it is for you. Then that should be your job. That in every 5-minute conversation or more that you're having with people, that if I spend 5 minutes with Jay, I'm going to have a smile on my face. And so it's the things that make you happy, that are your fullest potential, but you're not doing, and you need to be reminded of to do on a consistent basis. As an example, I look at Alex, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. His one word is belong. He wants people to feel like they belong. Great. It's a perfect start as a one word. Hashtag belong. Great. He breaks it down into validation. He believes it's important to validate people, into open arms, and into non-judgment. So you welcome people with open arms and you don't judge them. So you give them validation for what they're doing. You welcome them with open arms and you don't judge them. You know, I can remember that for him. He can remember that for him. We're not going to remember 10, right? I'm not going to remember my own 10. He's not going to remember his 10, let alone me remembering what his 10 are. So let's take one of them, validation. Okay, he thinks it's important to validate people. Before we even get to business, how does that impact his friendships? How does that impact his relationships? You know, when his wife comes home, does he validate her? Does he thank her for whatever she's done today to help him? Does he show some gratitude and appreciation for something that she's done in the past and before? This is who he wants to be. This is his highest version of himself, is to validate others. And so he needs to make sure that in almost every conversation that he has, he validates that person, because it makes him feel better and it makes them feel better. And oftentimes he's too afraid. Like if you get on a bus, a public transportation bus, do you thank the person who is driving the bus? Great. Could you take a little bit of extra moment to say, listen, I know it's a crazy snowy day. It must be stressful for you. I really appreciate you taking me because I'm too scared to drive, man. I don't know how you do it, and I'm really grateful. Like that level of, how long does that take? It's 10 seconds, but you've maybe just made that person's week. And so for Alex, that's something that's important. And maybe he's too afraid to do it, right? He was telling me a story about he was going into a store and he was talking with, I think it was a hairdresser, and she was telling him about her life and how she came here from another country and was having a hard time and, you know, basically bet on herself and did 2 jobs and night school and all that just to try to make a better life for herself. And he listened and said, wow, that's really cool. And, you know, thank you for the haircut and all that stuff. And then left like he normally would. And then the Credo came back in his head, validation, validation, validation. And he's like, you know what? I should have thanked her. I should have recognized her more. I should have said, you know what? That was really courageous of what you did. And as soon as he remembered that, then he thought, you know what? I already left the store. What am I going to do? I'm going to go back in now and do that. It's kind of awkward. It's, you know, I missed my chance. But again, the Credo rang in his back of his head saying, validation, I got to do it. So he overcame his fear of how he might be judged and look awkward to go in to say, listen, I know this might feel really weird, but I was leaving and I was thinking about your story, and I just wanted to acknowledge you for how courageous you were to do that, to leave your country and all the work you're doing. I just want to know that your story touched me, and I'm really thankful and appreciative. And the fear of what she might say or how she might react, or the fear of him being judged, immediately goes away because you see the reaction. Like that comment made her weak. And having a very clear Credo gave him the confidence to do that. Now he applied to a business context. You know, Alex does a lot of phone calls. People call in and say, hey, I want to learn about salsa classes. How do I do it? One of the things he always looks for now on the phone call is trying to validate the person. So you don't just answer the question and say, oh yeah, here's our dates. We do this, 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 and this. Asking them, why are they interested in salsa classes? What drove you to call me today? And whatever it is, I want to make a gift for my girlfriend, or I've always wanted to do this, but was afraid. You know, everybody has a story. So listening to the story and then validating them. Say, you know what, this is a really bold move you're doing. I think you're going to have a really good time. Thank you for choosing us. Telling somebody who's afraid that they're bold makes a big difference. And it has to be genuine appreciation. It's not some just like struggling to find something and you make something up. That's not cool. It's got to be genuine validation. But having that in the back of his head constantly helps him make better decisions for him, which helps him make better decisions for the business as well, but also in his personal life. And so that's one of them. Another one is non-judgment. So every time now he catches himself judging somebody, he tries to step back because he doesn't want to be a judgmental person. and yet he finds himself judging some people. And so he pulls it back and says, maybe I shouldn't judge that, but we should seek to understand a little bit more. And so that's why it's important to get it down to the core essentials, because you won't have 10 things in your head that will constantly be pushing you, that will force you to go back in that store and have that conversation, or when somebody calls you randomly to be able to remind yourself to do something, or to call you out on judging somebody when you shouldn't be. You need it ringing in your head constantly. Otherwise, you're going to always live less than what you could be. And so starting from a personal perspective on the life you want to live, and then bringing that to your business. So bringing possible, and whatever it stands for, into your business. So maybe part of it is, making change, not just thinking about something, but actually being an active participant, right? Be the change that you want to see in the world. So that could be one of them. You talk a lot about legacy versus currency. So maybe that's one of them, thinking bigger picture and thinking about where you're going to be in 20 years, having a longer term vision. Maybe that's one of them, right? And so what it will do is force you to start thinking about that on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully guide you to living that best version of yourself. My third suggestion is I would see a 10 Commandments kind of post as a sub-campaign. I think it could do well. I think it's a good thing you can have on a website. I think it's a great Facebook campaign or YouTube campaign, or make a video about it as just a reminder. Like I need a daily reminder of belief in my life, right? It's why these people are behind me. It's why I make the videos that I make. I need a daily reminder for myself. And so I post. If you go to my Facebook or Twitter, you'll see daily quotes that inspire me. Some are from the book. Some are just things that I found that I really resonate with daily. And so this could be one of those things that when I read the 10 Commandments, or maybe you do a commandment a day, or you repeat it every quarter, or whatever it is, you can keep bringing it back, not just a one-off throwaway, that it gives me an injection of possibility for that day, but I wouldn't expect people to remember it and have it something that they try to live by. It would, even for people who follow the 10 Commandments, people who go to church, a lot of them couldn't name them, which, let's get it down. Let's get it down to 3. Let's make it a little easier. So I see it as being a sub-campaign that you can keep coming back to, but not the core of what you're all about. I think it's important. And then the fourth thing I would remind you is that this becomes the lens for every decision. So, we've talked about how you're going to live your life. We've talked about how maybe you make a phone call for customer support. It's how you hire somebody, right? So if you're hiring somebody, if Alex is hiring somebody, then they need to belong, right? They need to validate people. They need to have open arms. They need to be non-judgmental. When you're hiring somebody, you want to hire somebody who believes in the possible, who values legacy over currency. All of the things that you continually talk about, you want to make sure that that is clear and upfront. And again, now you're sitting in a room with your candidate. Are you going to remember the 10 things that are in your head? Are you going to have to, if you have to look at a piece of paper, it's over. If you have to look down at your sheet of paper, it means that you haven't fully embraced it, right? So when I'm sitting across the room from a new candidate, you're sitting across the room from a new person that you're going to hire or bring on board, then those 3 things should be buzzing in your head. Or setting up warning flags. This person's just in it for the money. This person's just in it for the short term. You know what? Currency over legacy, or legacy over currency, right? Not a fit. Boom. Okay, move on. Somebody else. It should help you make more effective decisions. That's the entire point of having your one word and your credo. Make more effective decisions for you. So you bring on the right people, work on the right projects, build the right kind of business, hang around the right kind of people for you, for what you're trying to accomplish. And so summarizing all of it, the simpler it is, so that you can use it daily instead of trying to memorize it, is important. So I would strongly encourage you to build it around possible and coming down to your 3 things that make up your credo. And then all the other ideas, just use them as sub-campaigns, because whatever's in the 10 Commandments is going to be a great campaign, great tool to help me believe in the possible. But just don't expect me to remember all the points. And if you don't remember all the points, it's not an effective credo. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully that helped. Thank you, Jay, for picking up the 10 books. It really means a lot to me, man. And I believe in you guys. I appreciate all your support. I hope you continue to believe in yourselves and whatever your one word is. Much love. I'll see you soon.